Today is Monday, November the 23rd, and I paused again because you know what? I forgot to turn my notification off again. I am your host, Casey Phoenix, and this is my daily thought. Okay, I'm getting situated here. I'm getting situated. I have my TV going to the side of me, and I have like just things on my mind and stuff. I have to take a sip of my tea. It is chilled just the way I like it. Perfect. All right. And I don't know. I'm just I I don't know. I don't know if I can describe what I'm feeling right now. I don't feel bad per se or anything like that. I don't want to say mellow. I feel like is another word. Cause not mellow, not melancholy. I feel like there's another word. Um, but I'm just riding the wave to a certain degree right now. I have my chicken going. I also, speaking of chicken, I hope that you enjoyed the Wacky News Weekend episode on Keeping It Real with KC. Because I did that and I found it on this random website I came across that has like these odd news stories. And I was just scrolling through all the stories, and then it had shown the one story about chicken with the Yellowstone Park stuff. And then there was another story right after it with the Chick-fil-A incident. And I was like, wow, okay, let me go ahead and do, these two stories. And I did that. But there were other stories. And on the next Wacky News Weekend, I'll probably go back to that website and pick another story or two to do that. Because there were some other stories worth reading. But with two chicken stories back to back, I was like, oh no, this is right in my wheelhouse. So yeah, but I have my chicken going right now as boiling and stuff. And I guess just here I am. Here I am. So two things I can't stand. And I mentioned this, well, through passing. I mentioned this. Well, one of them I mentioned through passing, pretty sure. Because when I was talking about trust, I was like, if I can't trust you, then I'm just like, no. But one thing I can't stand, which I know I mentioned this because I know I talked about one of my cousins before, is a liar. That's one of the two. Like these two things are up there. Probably one and two. Could I pick one over the other? I don't know. But they're up there at the top. Where it comes to lying, and the reason I don't like liars is because to me it's a sign of weakness. And I don't like that. You can file weakness in the top 5 as well. But I would rather someone not say anything than make something up, is how I feel. I would just, because as I mentioned before, and this goes back to the other daily thought, where I said an explanation is a courtesy, not a requirement. And I feel like for some people who lie, they're asked a question that they don't want to answer because A, they're afraid to answer the question, or B, they don't want to deal with the I guess you could say confrontation or the fallout that may ensue if they tell the truth and if they answer the question truthfully. But they can always just opt out of answering the question and just say, I don't want to answer. And if someone gets upset, oh well. I've done that before where I've been asked a question and I just didn't feel like answering it. I wasn't in the mood. And if I'm not in the mood, it's not going to happen. I don't care what you say or what you do. So it amazes me where people are just like, well, instead of not answering the question or instead of telling the truth, I'm just going to make something up. No, I was at the mall when you were somewhere else. Or no, I didn't do this. You're saying you did that. I went right when you really went left. And just other things. It's like, what for? What for? One thing that I can say for the people who know me, that deal with me, which is few these days because I haven't been talking to anybody. I've been to myself a lot lately. And that's not necessarily a bad thing. I've been in the zone just handling things. I had as a matter of fact, I had to go over a checklist that I was working on last week where there were major things I needed to get out the way. And my mind is always going, which is weird because usually my brain can handle a ton of thoughts happening at the same time. But lately, my brain is like, okay, you need to focus on one thing at a time and do that. Because when I'm thinking about other stuff and I'm in the midst of doing something that requires physical action, it may just go totally wrong. Like, I'll give you an example. This morning, I was preparing to brush my teeth. While I was brushing my teeth, I was thinking about something else because I'm usually mapping out what I want to do in the morning, how I want to do it, what type of towels I want to use. My brain just thinks about random crazy stuff all the time. So as I'm thinking about whatever I was thinking about when I'm preparing to brush my teeth, I have my toothbrush in my hand. I grab the soap instead of the toothpaste, and I get ready to scrub the soap on my toothbrush and brush my teeth is what I'm preparing to do. But then I catch myself because I was in the middle of a thought. And I was like, oh, wow, I was about to use my soap to brush my teeth. Slow down, focus. I have these moments now because my brain is constantly going. But like I said, I've been to myself though and handling things, and I had to make a list. I was like, okay, let me make this list. Let me get this done. Every time I get something done, all right, Monday, all right, I'm aiming for this one. Done. Tuesday, all right, I'm aiming for this one. Done. And that's what I did last week. I just went through. And then over the weekend, I completed my final major thing, or what I consider a major thing. So it's all good. But for those who still deal with me, they know that if they ask me a question, they're more than likely going to get the truth. If they don't get the truth, I will more than likely not answer the question. It would just depend on my mood. If I'm not in the mood, because I can usually tell, like if somebody asks me something, based off of the question, I can tell what the exchange might be based on my answer. If I feel that they are not mentally able to handle my answer, then I just won't say anything. I'll just be like, I'm not answering the question. But usually, I'll answer it and I'll add the caveat. I'm like, okay, are you sure? Because you're asking me a question. I'm about to give you an answer. And they're like, yeah, I'm sure. Okay, here we go. That's what I do. So yeah, the lion thing, it's not, it's just, ugh, it irritates me. And the crazy thing is, and I think I mentioned this before, I used to lie all the time. I forgot to turn my other phone off. Give me 1 second. Let's see. Okay, there we go. I used to lie all the time when I was in middle school and elementary school. I used to lie all the time. And then as time went on, I just grew out of it. And as I observe people, as I have observed people throughout life, I just noticed that some people just haven't grown out of lying. They haven't. And the other reason I'm bringing this up, and this is about to dovetail into the other thing I can't stand, is because I told you I had something stolen from me. I mentioned that, allegedly. So they say. There's so much to that story in that situation. And as I'm explaining to other parties involved, they're looking at me as if I'm making it up. But that's because they don't know me personally. If they knew me personally, they would be like, oh, he's telling the truth. He's not just going to up and lie about something like that. So lying is not his thing. But yeah. And one thing I can't stand, one of the other things I can't stand is a thief. I can't stand the thief. I've been homeless 2 times. 2 times I've been homeless. And both of those times, I never stole from anyone at all. I never stole anything physical. That's not my stilo. I can't stand the thief. And people try to rationalize what they do when they steal from someone. Like, oh, well, they didn't need it, or oh, well, they have insurance, or oh, well, this, or oh, well, that. It wasn't yours. It wasn't yours. You don't know what that meant to that person. Back a long time ago, one time, someone had stole my cell phone out of my apartment a long time ago. And I was able to figure out who it was and whatnot. And it was an interesting situation. It was a situation where it was sad to a certain degree, because not only was this individual involved, but also the individual's mother was involved as well. And it's like, this is what's happening. This is what's going on. Like, what really happened in your life that you felt you could just take someone else's property that wasn't yours, that you didn't pay for, that you didn't work for? I don't get it. I'm more of the extreme when it comes to physical property being stolen. I'm more of the, in certain countries, if something is stolen, you lose a hand type thing. If it can be proven that it was stolen, physical property, yeah, I wouldn't have an issue with that at all. That's how much I despise a thief. Because people, just like someone can rationalize and say they're going through this hard time or they're going through that hard time, or oh well they're not going to miss it, or oh they have insurance and all this other stuff. The On the other end, you don't know what that person had to go through to get whatever they had. You don't know how many hours they put in to acquire that particular item. You don't know what they went through on their journey, because we're all on journeys. You don't know what they went through before building themselves up, taking the time to build themselves up, to acquire whatever they have. The only thing that you know is that there's something that you want and you feel you have a right to it when you don't. And that's not directed at anyone specifically. That I'm talking broadly, as in a thief is what I'm talking about. Because I don't know who takes what. I would hope that anyone who listens to my podcast doesn't steal property from anyone. And if you do, I'm not judging you, but I do have an opinion about you, but I'm not judging you. So yeah, it's really, really interesting how people's minds work. One person said, karma is a silent and slow moving gangster. And sometimes that's true. One thing I can say is that for the two types of people that I despise, liars and thieves, have they ever considered trying the opposite approach for an extended period of time, just to see what the reaction is or to see what the options are, and gather the information and then say, well, maybe this might be a better path? Has anyone ever tried, let's say if they lie a lot, telling the truth for 30 days, where they're like, you know what, for 30 days, I'm going to tell the truth. If someone asks me a question, I'll tell the truth. You know, obviously there's caveats, because I did a episode on loyalty. So I can understand certain things. But removing that, if you were to tell the truth, the drama that may ensue after you tell the truth, because people ask questions. And usually, just so you know, when people ask questions, they usually know the answer anyway. They just need that confirmation out loud from another party besides themselves. So, FYI on that one. But when you tell the truth, the chaos may ensue. But guess what? Everything's out in the open then. Everything's confirmed. It's like, okay, That's why I'm always like, when I tell the truth, all right, so what next? There really isn't anything else, because the truth is already out there. There isn't, well, I lied this time, and if something related to the subject comes up again, then I got to make something up. Then I got to remember what lie I told before. And you don't have to worry about all that when you tell the truth. The truth is the truth is the truth. Once it's out there, chaos may ensue, possibly. And then it may not. Some people actually, like me, respect people who just tell the truth, even if the truth is ugly. So, for those who have a tendency not to tell the truth, I ask them to experiment for 30 days and see what happens. Instead of, and for those who have a tendency to take things that aren't theirs, instead of doing that, why don't they approach the individual and ask them, how did they acquire it? Or what did the individual do? Find out more about the individual to see what their journey was that allowed them to have such things. And if it's something that may be considered small, why not just ask? Or say something to the effect like, I love that, I wish I had that. You may be surprised how generous some people can be. Where some people are just like, oh, you like this? Here, you can have that. You'd be surprised. I've seen it. Also, I've done it. So I want people to just take a different approach. For those who that's one of my wishes, to take a different approach for those who may fall in that category. But like I said, hopefully my listeners don't have sticky fingers or lie all the time. If you do, again, I'm not judging you. I'll have an opinion about the actions, but I'm not judging you, because I'm not in a position to judge anyone. I'm just me. I'm just a guy with the show that talks about feelings and life, entertainment, news, and sports. So speaking of sports, I think it's going to be a sports episode this weekend coming. Okay, I have to check that. But yeah. So I just wanted to get that kind of off my chest, throw it out there. And so there's never any room for doubt on how I feel about liars and thieves. Because, yeah, no. I don't agree with it. It's not my thing. So, and I know some people are like, but KC, you were friends with such and such and such and such. Yeah. I told you I don't judge people. And also, for whatever was going on with that situation, I made sure not to get close enough to know the details. Anything with that situation, people who deal with me know where I stand. I don't hide where I stand, which is one reason why those who deal with me respect me, because I don't hide where I stand. And whatever someone's lifestyle choice is, that is their lifestyle choice. I will not hide my opinion, not judgment. I will not hide my opinion on someone's lifestyle choice if we associate with each other. So if something ever goes left with them, then, you know, I'm going to be looking at them like, it's like, look, I'm not going to testify, but at the same time, I'm not going to feel sorry for you either. So it is what it is. But yeah, that's all I have. KIRWKC.com, main podcasting platform. KIRWKC on Twitter, on Instagram, Facebook.com/KIRWKC. If you're watching this on YouTube or Daily Motion, don't forget to hit the subscribe button followed by notification bell. That will let you know when I upload new videos. Thank you to everyone who's been taking time to listen to my podcast. I really, really appreciate it. And I'll keep on doing it until I can't. So, yeah, I think it's going to be a sports episode this weekend. I'll know for sure by, I guess, tomorrow or Wednesday. So, something like that. Anyways, until next time, be blessed.